everybody, I'm Justin, and we are here today at Warn Industries in Clackamas, Oregon. Today, we're gonna take a look at Warn's brand new ZEON XD winch. It is the absolute best example of what we do here at Warn Industries. ZEON XD is the premium winch product built with no compromise components for the ultimate high-level performance. It is the self-recovery tool that is there when it just has to work. Now let's head inside and take a look at the parts and design that make up ZEON XD. All right, everybody, so we are in the inspection lab inside of Warn's facility here in Clackamas, Oregon. I've got Tom here with us, and we also got Darren. Both of these guys have been out at King of the Hammers with us. Darren's raced KOH, so we got a lot of history and a lot of product knowledge between these two. And so we're gonna dive into some of the key features that make up the new ZEON XD. So guys, let's jump into it.
So this is our new ZEON XD series. We got our 10 and our 12, which is our lineup. Both come with synthetic rope. It is a modular platform, so we built it so we can expand on it in the future with some more models and variations. We start by trying to tune, what do we want the performance of the winch to be? What do we want the line speed? What do we want the amp draw? Where do we want all those things to be with the winch? And it starts with the motor and then it goes to the gear train, right? And then as we're tuning the gear train, some of the considerations we have is, how do we get the most efficient gear train that we can? Whether it's the actual gear profiles and how it meshes with the inside of the ring gears, but also the tooth counts that we have in there. Because you have a more efficient system, right? When you're pulling, or you're doing the pulls and you put a load in there, the whole system doesn't have to work as hard now, especially compared to like a standard duty winch that might not be as efficient. Because it's more efficient, you're getting more pull for the power that's going into it. The components, even the gear train, it doesn't have to work as hard to get that same level of pull, so you're gonna get more durability out of it, and overall as a system, it's gonna last longer. All right, so we talked about the control pack. So this whole control pack is new, right? Yeah. It is metal, so we have a die casting outer there, which is similar to ZEON. Probably the biggest improvement for experienced ZEON owners will appreciate this is how it attaches to the tie plate down here. You can actually get access to the screws and remove it a whole lot easier than the last one. So you don't have to pull all the rope off to be able to get to those fasteners and pull that off.
And then you got the larger diameter cables that are coming out the back of this, right? So to help to lower the amp draw and that type of voltage, is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean, efficiency is the name of the game, right? So, we use the best power cables that we can, which come at a little bit of a premium, but it's trying to get the maximum amount of voltage and amperage to that control pack to go to the motor that we can.
And so since the ZEON XD has been since this is our new premium winch, and so it's been retooled from the ground up here. So you got that new control pack that's going on top of these tie plates. Can you tell me what we did over on the bus bar cover?
Those are really high temp plastic
components, right?
Components that separate the bus bars in there, and there's a lot of heat generated coming out of that motor. And so we went through, did all that testing with 5 different materials at OEM UV level grade testing, and found one that passed not just UV, but if a rock comes up and hits it, it's impact resistance.
Now we got into the motor end of this. What's unique about the motor? What do we have? What do we got new about the motor here?
It is a new motor, and we designed it and tuned it for these winches. And that's kind of something unique for Warn, is we're not just going and pulling an off-the-shelf motor that anyone else can get and just trying to plop it into our winch. We start these motor designs literally with drawing the curves of how we want the motor to perform, and then we build the motor around that. Performance is the foundation of that motor. We're building that motor around the end winch that we want, and so that's part of the equation of how we can get the best in class line speed out of this thing.
So a lot of aftermarket truck motors just have a paper gasket where they're bolted to the drum support. Ours has O-rings in the end cap, O-rings where it mates to the drum support. It has machined surfaces so that there's a ground path going on in there too, to get from that ground cable to this brush box assembly that's inside this motor. So we've improved all of those surfaces along the way, to his point earlier, so you're not getting voltage loss. You have a good clean ground path.
And the O-ring that's in the end of that, so now we have true O-rings that go in here, and so that's also going, what's the O-ring sealing up? What is the reason for that?
Well, it's to keep water out. So
water out of the motor.
Yeah, our winches are rated that they can run underwater under 3 feet of water for 30 minutes.
It's one thing to say that the winch is waterproof, but the whole system is waterproof from the hub receiver to the remote, because that's a part of the total system. You need that to be able to operate underwater. What happens if you drop your remote in water while you're stuck somewhere?
Then the drum, right? Is it like it's a zinc alloy?
Yeah, when we developed this drum for ZEON, it's 3 1/8 diameter, so it's getting the rope to last longer as you're bending, because you pull rated load on the first layer of a winch drum, and when you bend that rope around here, it's really not only trying to compress this, which is why it's a zinc alloy, but it's saving your rope life.
And the zinc alloy drum is a perfect solution, right? And a premium upgrade to the ZEON line, because it also helps to dissipate the heat, right? Off of the internal brake that's in there. And so is it still the same patented puck and through rope design?
Yep.
This is something unique to the ZEON line, where when you're installing the rope, you actually are putting the rope through, pull it through, you put a puck in there, and then you pull that back through with some load, and it sets the rope in there. And that actually allows the whole system between the drum and the rope to hold near rated load without any wraps on the drum.
And so the drum goes into the other plate on this side.
Yes.
Okay.
Transmission side drum support.
I want to talk about, this is like one of the O-rings.
Our manufacturing engineers came to us and they're like, hey, no more paper gaskets. We want OEM level O-rings in this system.
Wow.
And that way they can guarantee
sealing.
they're installed, right? So this one's already installed here. So, and then there's a groove in this third stage ring gear where this just drops in. So they're not black. So our assemblers and our manufacturing engineers, they can tell that they're there.
I got it. What is this? Tell me what this is. I got to know what this is. So I've never seen anything like this before in my life. What is this?
So we'll get to that. So one thing we did change from the first gen ZEON is these 5 bolts on the previous generation were installed this way. So you couldn't see these out here. But then if you mounted this winch feet forward in like an ARB bumper or somebody else's bumper, the clutch lever's in the back now. And then you would have to disassemble way too much of the transmission side to get to the bolt that holds this clutch lever in. So we wanted to be able to get to the screw that provides the detent and holds this clutch lever in. So if you take these 5 fasteners out, you have this reusable urethane gasket, and it only goes in one way, and it's not going to fall apart. And when you put it in here, there's actually a cavity in here, and it just sets in there. So it's not like a traditional O-ring where it wants to like potato chip or do something.
And twist and turn.
Or if you're trying to throw something like this in there, this thing literally has a nest that it just sets in. The engineers figured out, so they have internal bosses that go metal on metal machine surfaces. So this is compressed at the same compression every time. So we're not worried if a consumer takes this part apart, because this is all designed specifically, for.
So as soon as they get the fasteners back in there, they don't have to worry about like over tightening that gasket.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. You wouldn't over compress it.
Let's talk about the transmission in our gear train.
So we've improved where the sun gear comes out. This is a sun gear where it comes out of this planetary gear set. We've improved the way it's attached to this plate right here. So we've seen stuff in the past where, maybe it wasn't machined perfectly, or it was out of spec, and, still got used in production. And, so we've looked at like how things might fail, and we've designed that out of the product, right? So say somebody didn't machine it right, well, this is retained by a retaining ring now. So we're not relying 100% on a perfect machining job, or if it's swedged from the backside. We actually came up with a different type of swedging process on these pins that makes them stiffer, so they don't actually rack when the transmission's under load.
No kidding.
So we've had design engineers and manufacturing engineers look at different ways to basically come in and mechanically smash these pins down and provide a much stronger assembly.
Okay, so now it's sitting in here, so now we got, and is that the ring gear? That's a ring gear that's right there?
Yeah, so the ring gear, that's really the money maker of the gear train. So this thing starts here at Warren as a solid blank of steel. We cut it, we shape it, and then on the broach out there, we actually put the teeth into it.
Wow, yes, so that's what Kong is doing.
Mm-hmm. That's what Kong is doing. So why this ring gear is so important is that is what is basically transmitting the torque of our third stage planetary set. So that is what is going to see the most abuse. It's going to see the most torque. It's going to see the most load. So we got to make sure that that is the most reliable part of the whole gear train.
And where does the ring gear sit inside of the system here?
So the ring gear is attached directly to your transmission side drum support right there. So it's hiding right inside the drum support.
It's right inside of here, inside of the drum support, then goes into the planetary gear set, right?
Exactly. And one of the things that's unique about this one also is that's where we cut the groove in there for that O-ring to help with that whole
To sit in there. That's so slick, man. That is cool. It's so neat to see like it blown apart like this, right? To cover all those little details, right? And the quality of everything and the care and the precision that gets put into this. I mean, it's just fantastic. I mean, it really just shows that that's why this is the most durable and reliable winch that you could possibly get out on the market. Again, so why choose Warn? Well, it's for reliability, it's durability, it's a lifelong product, it's the history, it's the innovation, everything that's gone in to building this. And we are so proud to bring you the ZEON XD line to the market. You can find out more about these winches and purchase them now at warn.com or at any retailer near you. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you guys out on the trail.